What's going on, wrestling fans? Jeff Upson. I'm alongside Zach Bowman and third generation Classic committee member here.
Yes,
right?
sir.
I mean, you're the OG of the Classic.
Been around it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's in your blood,
yeah.
right?
I had no choice.
51 years. It's a long time.
Yep.
And here we are just taking it forward and working hard at keeping this one of the best events in the nation. And I got to say, Zach, we did a pretty damn good job putting together some really good teams. We're going to go through some of, especially the USA versus Pennsylvania team. We're going to talk about the rankings and kind of some of the matchups that we're looking forward to. But this is the second year that we have a full girls card. So we have a girls Pennsylvania team and then a New Jersey All-Star team. Last year we had an Ohio All-Star team. Throughout the years we've had girls sprinkled in, right? I don't remember when did Tomei did she wrestle in it? Yeah, she wrestled in it.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do remember that.
But we've had sporadically girls compete in the Classic, but last year was our first year where we officially had a girls team, a Pennsylvania girls team. It coincided with the fact that we had a PIAA state tournament for the girls, so kind of cool. But this year we have PA girls versus New Jersey girls. We also have PA or WPIAL boys versus New Jersey boys, and this is the second year in a row we've had the New Jersey boys. You just can't get enough of the New Jersey folks.
No,
Coach Stoll was your boy, your best friend.
Coach Stoll stepped in for us last year when we were in a bind with the team.
He did, yeah.
He came through, bringing a team over to us, and we as you and we all know, we thought it was fair to give him a shot, to give him a full year of putting a lineup in where he knew how long he was going to be, coming in for the team. So, shout out to him for him.
Yeah, I mean he's been great to work with. He's a lot of fun. He's out here a lot with Powerade.
Yeah,
and we get to see him a lot. And look, Jersey's bringing a solid team.
Yeah,
they're bringing a good team, and I think he was kind of like, give us another shot because we were kind of in a bind last year, and maybe we didn't get our best team out there. So I think that's kind of like a redemption story for him a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was preaching his case last year. It's like, hey, give me another shot. We're going to be pretty strong next year. So
and they are, right?
Yeah.
And even with, I mean, some of the New Jersey guys that we still didn't get all of the New Jersey guys, but heck, we didn't get all the Pennsylvania guys, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And we actually just had a little meet and greet with our sponsors, because if everyone knows, like, this is a charitable organization, and we are basically the only reason we can operate is based on those sponsorships. And one of the things we were talking about to our sponsors is, how much of, when you look at the teams from New Jersey and guys from all over the country, like we fly them in, right? There's a lot of cost to that, and there's a lot of prestige around it. But with the girls' side, maybe because it's only a second year, there's maybe not as much prestigiousness to it. So there's definitely some challenges there. But
yeah, but I think, we started off on a right foot, and we're coming a long way, even from just last year to this year.
Oh, heck,
so
yeah.
I think we're going in the right direction for the women for sure.
For sure. And this year we definitely have a pretty solid lineup when it comes to the girls team. I'm going to put up the graphic on the screens here so people can see it, but we have some hammers. When you look at some of the girls that we have, nationally ranked girls, Emily Murphy from Montgomery, she's headed to Lock Haven. She's at 124 pounds. We actually have two 124s, Sierra Chiesa, who was the first girl, right? I mean, she's history right here.
Yeah.
She's the first girl ever to qualify for the PIAA state tournament, and she was blood around.
Twice, right?
She didn't just make it.
Yeah.
She wrestled, and she damn near placed,
yeah.
right? She's a Fargo national champion. Emily Murphy's a Fargo All-American. Charlotte Guilfoyle, shout out Central Dauphin Rams. Charlotte Guilfoyle was a state champion this year. She's number 4 in the nation.
Yeah.
She's also going to Lock Haven. Lock Haven coach Matt Lackey, who I just saw at the NCAA tournament, he's building a really, really strong program up there at Lock Haven. You see a lot of these top girls that end up going there. In fact, one of the New Jersey girls is going there at 118, Maeve Witt. So it's really cool to see that. Jordan Faust,
yeah,
3-time state champion, didn't wrestle this year, but she's going to Grand Valley State. She's number 15 in the nation. She was on Who's Number 1.
I was just going to say, that seems like a pretty low
yeah,
ranking for where she was at one point.
Yeah, she was a Fargo national finalist. One of the best wrestlers pound for pound, and for sure, is Jael Miller from Punxsutawney. I know you got to see her a couple times.
Yeah.
She's a stud.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
She
the real
might
deal.
place in the boys' door. I don't know. I'm just saying. Like
She's the real deal. I got to watch her last year.
Yeah, she's really good. She's going to North Central. And again, she's ranked number 2 in the nation. Jules Pergola from JP McCaskey is number 18 in the nation. So we have a really solid lineup. The 142 matchup between Faust and Sanaya Queen is the kind of the marquee matchup. They're both ranked in the nation. Sanaya Queen is number 25 in the nation. So listen, the girls put on a show, though. That's the thing. Like with boys, I don't know what it is, but the girls, like they don't care. Like they go out and they wrestle and like they put up points, and they don't get afraid to like, oh my gosh, they don't wrestle to not lose. Like they wrestle to win.
Absolutely. Yeah, they let it fly. I mean, headlocks, slat drops. You name it.
Do you remember last year the heavyweight? I mean, and that was like the two. Like we had Favara, and I think the girl from Ohio. She wrestled for life.
Yeah, she won it.
She won it, right? Yeah. I saw it. I was like, I'm pretty sure she was in the classic.
I saw that hit my mind, and
because she put a crown on her head afterwards. Like
when you brought that up, I was like, okay, I thought because I saw her as well, so it makes me.
And like that was like, and she got the pin, and that was fun. So the girls, I know the girls are going to come bring it. We got a really good team. I like Tamara Humphreys from Brashear, representing the City League.
Yep, got to see her up at States as well.
Yeah, she had a really good tournament there. So, and a couple local girls with Janaya Nobles from Connellsville. It's going to be a good tournament with these girls, and it's been a little. And again, just kind of on the back end of things, it's been tough because the girls have their world team trials basically the week after. Mm-hmm. So a lot of these girls, especially seniors, which we are only a senior event, a lot of them are getting ready to go to the world team trials and compete. So, and also the NHSCA is the same weekend
as well.
Yeah. So like that's been around longer than the classic for the girls at least. Mm-hmm. So like if they've been going there for years, it's kind of like, well, we've already kind of had this on our radar, right? There's challenges, but I think as the women continue to grow, I think we're going to be just fine.
We're going to grow with them, I think.
Yeah. Well. So that'll be first. That's at 3:00 on Saturday. That'll be the first event that goes down is the PA women's versus the New Jersey women's, and then we're going to follow that right up with our New Jersey guys versus the WPIAL boys. And I'll tell you what, Jersey's going to bring it, but we've got a really good.
We've got one of the
pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, WPIAL teams that we've had in a while.
Long time. If you look at this. All of them, and I feel like for years we've always had like a couple that are not committed yet to this point. All these guys are going D1. Leo Joseph, Navy. Nico Finella is going to Pitt. Evan Petrovich is going to Pitt. You got a couple West Virginia, shout out Mountaineers. Ramil Islamov from Baldwin's going to WVU. Lonzy Fielma from Collinsville is going to WVU. So look at the state medalist here. I mean, Nico Finella had a heck of a year.
Yeah.
Luke Willishell. Heck of a career, 2-time state runner-up, and he's headed to Wyoming where his brother Gabe is. Yep. And Finella is currently ranked number 18 in the nation. On the Jersey side, a guy who I've got to see a lot of is Jordan Chapman from Cranford, who's headed to Rutgers. He's a guy who trains with a good friend of mine, Kyle Kiss, and his club. And
I know Kyle real well.
Yeah, Kyle's a great guy. He coached at Clarion and somebody who I work closely with. And Chapman's one of his guys. And he was going to have Bodie Marlowe, who we had to call up to the PA team because Asher Cunningham had to pull out. So we have Isaac Lisinski, who's going to college to wrestle at Gardner-Webb, but he's also a really good baseball player. In fact, when we asked him to wrestle, he was going to a baseball game.
His dad was on his way.
Yeah. So he's also a baseball player. But Burrell, I mean, it doesn't feel right having a WPIAL team without a Burrell guy.
Yeah, you have to, right?
And
shout out to Shields for that one.
And at the 11th hour, we pull one in, right? So that's pretty cool. This team's really loaded. Braden Welsh, I mean, he went up to 215 this year.
Yeah.
Looked really good, even going up and giving up some weight. And we actually have 2 189s with Mark Gray. And I actually told Mark Gray after States, I was like, I don't care what you have to do. Keep yourself healthy, tape your head on, tape your arms up, because he's always banged up. He's always, and he was like, I'm good. I got it. I was like, if you got to put I don't know what you have to do, but just make sure you're in one piece.
Yeah.
Shep Turk from TJ, a house.
Man's a monster.
Man's a monster. He's going D1 in football, going to Pittsburgh. Jake Conroy's going to Cornell. Fargo All-American, state medalist a couple times now. But I will say the New Jersey teams, they're packing some punches. Carson Welsh from Pope John, who's headed to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I got to meet him on his recruiting trip actually this year. He was at a Pitt game,
Okay.
and I kind of threw him on the radar that said, hey, I'm on the committee.
Yeah.
Hope we can get you on the team. And I know Coach Headley was really excited to get him on the team to get out here to see him wrestle too. So, yeah, that's really cool.
And Donnie Alameda from Pope John, his teammate, who's going to Penn. I feel like there's like 100 Alamedas, right?
I was just going to say.
There's a lot of them. And Walsh, he's got a brother too.
Yes. Yep.
So of course we talked about Jordan Chapman, AJ Falcone from Christian's brother, who's really, that's a really solid team. CBA's always got a really good team from New Jersey. Vincenzo Lavelli from Hanover Park is going to Princeton. Right? He's going to be wrestling Braden Welsh. And he's going to Brown. So two Ivy League guys there. And Vincenzo Lavelli is ranked number 7th in the nation. Braden Welsh, I think, has a chance to upset him.
Yeah.
Like Braden Welsh he's good. Yeah. I know you got to see him a bunch this year.
You see some of those guys from Jersey. A lot of them are still going D1 as well. Lockhaven,
Rutgers,
Penn, Sacred Heart, Rutgers, Princeton. They're bringing a team. Pitt.
Yep.
Obviously Army.
Yeah.
They're bringing a team.
When you look at like a guy like Ramil Islamov, he's somebody who I think came into the state tournament with high hopes and maybe didn't perform up to his expectations. I definitely don't think he wanted to finish where he did. This is kind of like a little bit of a
redemption.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's probably going to come out and look to put on a show. I mean, he's already locked into WVU. He's been working out with Ty Waters a lot. So, he's been doing well. And Leo Joseph, Navy, man, Leo's tough.
Yeah. It seems like he's been around for a lot of years,
it does.
to be honest
with you.
It's been around for a long time. Maybe because I was watching his dad when I was a little kid. But, yeah, I mean, he's a stud too.
Yeah. So this, I mean, I'll give it to Coach Stoll. I mean, they definitely have a good team, and we did steal a couple of their guys for the USA team. Yeah. So it's like we took, it's like we have the best team, we have the New Jersey guys, but some of their best wrestlers are not.
Yep.
They're on the USA team. So, we'll that's fine. We'll give them some of those. But that goes down at right after the girls. We do a little bit of intermission. We do some awards and such, but around 4:15 is when that's going to start. The New Jersey boys versus the WPIAL boys is around 4:15 at Peters Township. And then we move on to our main event, and that's the PA versus USA All-Star teams going head-to-head. And, Zach, I mean, this is we were just talking about how deep this is. And if you look at the numbers, 22 out of 24 of these guys are all ranked in the top 10. That's Pennsylvania and USA. That is a lot. I mean, because typically Pennsylvania, we have 5, 6 ranked in the top 10. We've got 11.
11. I mean, if you look at that roster, it's.
Look how. I mean, Gage Botero's 9, Desmond's 2, Seidel's 3, Parkins 4, Cement's 4, Shaw is 10.
10.
Two-time state champion is 10, right? Colin Guy 3, Rath 2, Bodie Marlowe 6, and by the way, the guy who's not ranked in the nation only lost to Lane Ford by 1 point. It was a 1-0 match at the Trojan War. So, I mean, and he won a state title. And I don't think he got as much respect as he probably should. Ty Morrison won a very good 189-pound weight class.
Absolutely. I thought the same thing.
Wes Perry moved up from AA to AAA, and he won a state title, right, in AAA. Austin Johnson going to Oklahoma State, number 7. I feel like he's been around forever, too.
Yeah.
Rowan Holmes was nowhere near the national rankings before Hershey, and then he beats Mark Effendian in the state finals. Did you watch that match?
I did.
It was
great.
It was crazy.
Great. Yeah, it was awesome.
Kid from Somerset, you know.
Absolutely.
So
he's going to Lehigh.
He's going to Lehigh. Yeah. So if you look at this, we'll go through each weight class here. Gage Botero, number 9. Ethan Teamer from St. Ed's, Brunswick, Ohio. He's going to Virginia. This is a rematch from the Escape to Rock. Okay. So Botero beat him 8-5 at the Escape to Rock this year.
Gotcha.
So a rematch, right? That's a match that I think we need to win, because if you're looking at, and
steal some points.
And by the way, Chance Marsteller is our honorary coach.
Yep.
Shout out Chance, Pennsylvania legend.
Absolutely.
One of the best ever from Pennsylvania. And Chance and I were talking today, and we were kind of strategizing about, hey, where are we going to get some wins? And he and I both agreed. We're like, man, we could get some wins here, but we can take some losses, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
we can. And
we didn't do ourselves any favors. USA team stacked.
No, and we do that every year, right? We that's the name of the game. We wanted to bring the best guys in the country, and that's what we're doing. Obviously, we want PA to win, but we also want to see some good wrestling. So that's why we're bringing those guys in here.
And we're going to compete.
Oh,
we're,
for sure.
We're
always competing.
We're always competing, right? And even without some of the better, I mean, we're missing Asher Cunningham. The USA team's missing like PJ Duke and Marcus Blaze, right? Knox, because look, a lot of those guys, after their season, they're moving on to other things. And even though this is a prestigious 50-plus year event, I get it.
Yeah.
Like it sucks because we want to get the best guys, but at the end of the day, we still have. We have 3 number ones, pound for pound, and we have a whole bunch of some of the best guys in the nation going against it. So, Gage Rotero, state champ. Fargo national champion. He won Fargo this year. Ethan Teamer was a state champ 2 years ago, was, I believe, 3rd in Ohio this year. He lost in the championship, came back for 3rd. He was 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Ohio. He's headed to Virginia. Botero's headed to Michigan, which is weird because we have 2 guys from Pennsylvania going to Michigan, which I can't remember the last kid from Pennsylvania that went to Michigan, and now we have 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a long time.
It's been a very long
time. I like our chances at 121. 127, Nathan Desmond. Now, Nathan Desmond has not wrestled since December. He's been out, and he was a 2-time state champion at Bethlehem Catholic, wins a national prep championship last year. He's going to Penn State. He's number 2 in the nation. He's going to be wrestling Ronnie Ramirez, who, from California, they were going to wrestle at the Super 32 in the Wrestlebacks, the consolation semifinals, but Ramirez forfeited out of the tournament.
Okay.
These guys wrestled at the U.S. Open in 2024, and Ramirez won 8-5 in freestyle. Okay, so that's freestyle. Go back to 2023, Desmond beat Ramirez by fall while leading 14-0. At the Super 32. Now, that was 2 years ago. That was in 2023. I think that was 120 pounds, something like that. But you're telling me he was up 14-0 and then pinned him. Now, he lost him in freestyle in the most recently, and Desmond hasn't been on the mat for a long time. Like he's been out. But even before that, he won the Ironman. The first tournament of the year, he won the Ironman. He beat Gage Botero. He beat Keanu Dillard, who just won his third state title. So, like, Desmond is...
He's legit. I mean, he's going to Penn State.
Of course.
You don't go to Penn State.
And Rocco Welsh may be going to Penn State. I don't know. Breaking news? We don't know. I'm not going to break that news because we don't know.
We're still trying to figure it out.
So it's funny because we're all here at the hotel, all the classic guys here, and we're going around and we're like, this guy went in the portal. This guy. And then we're like, Rocco Welsh went in the portal. Rocco Welsh was literally at the Classic 2 years ago, wrestled Josh Barr in the Classic 2 years ago. Josh Barr's at Penn State, just won was a runner-up at the NCAA tournament, and now we're talking about Rocco Welsh, where he's going at.
I just threw him a Snapchat message to see where he's going.
Yeah, nothing yet.
He hasn't responded to me yet. We
didn't know we were going live.
No, we have some bets going on in the hospitality room. We want to know where you're going.
We do have some bets, Rocco. So if you could let us know where you're going,
that'd be great.
Because we're hearing a lot of rumors. We're hearing Penn State. Anyways, yes. So yeah, Nathan Desmond's a stud.
For sure.
But, yeah, I mean, that gives me hope because, I mean, Ramirez is tough. Like, don't get me wrong. Ramirez is he's had
chances.
All those California guys are really good. Ramirez is he's committed to Oklahoma State.
Yeah. I mean, when you're wrestling in a state that only has one division,
I got to give it to California, man. Their state tournament is so damn tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have guys ranked top 10 in the nation. I mean, remember we had, who was it? He's now at Estrada. Miguel Estrada. He came in ranked, when we picked him and picked a team, he was like number 2 or number 1 in the nation, goes to California States and takes like 3rd.
Yep.
And he dropped out.
Last year?
Was it last year or 2 years ago? It was
Jack,
one of the. Yeah, really. Yeah.
I actually saw him walking around at Nationals last weekend. He's
just
a big boy
barrel-chested guy.
That was him.
Yeah. He was, because that California tournament is just a meat grinder, right? Yep. Ramirez headed to Oklahoma State. He was a 2-time California State champion and took 3rd this year. So, obviously, I would say we have a good chance there. Even though the rankings would say we are favored, I'd still call it a toss-up with Desmond a little bit favored. Aaron Seidel is probably one of the guys who maybe gets overlooked a little bit because he is only a 3-time state champion. He's going for his 4th, and he loses to Jax Forrest. So you're like, oh, okay, this guy was a state runner-up. Like, no. This guy has the Pennsylvania wins record. Like, he's number 3 in the nation. He's going to Virginia Tech. The kid is absolutely unreal.
He gave Jax Forrest everything he wanted.
Everything. I mean, he just – yeah, that score, the final score, was not indicative of how close it was because I think it ended up like 6-1, 7, something like that. It was not nearly. It was a lot closer than that. Seidel's going to be wrestling Matt Botella from Massachusetts, who goes to Wyoming Seminary, right? A lot of people have those questions like, why do you have a kid from Wyoming Seminary on the USA team? Because he's from Massachusetts. He's wrestled on their teams before. He's, a lot of these guys from Wyoming Seminary, like Desmond is a Pennsylvania kid. A lot of these Wyoming Seminary guys they come in and they're bordered at the school. So it would be a slight to a state like Massachusetts where he's from and
not give some representation.
Yeah, that's so. This is a good one. Botello is number 6 in the nation currently. You got to see him at the Power 8 tournament.
I did. Yes.
Wrestled Jax Forrest.
Yes, he did. Yes, sir.
Jax Forrest beat him. Oh man, what was the final there? I forget what it was. I think he got bonus on him.
Yeah.
It was definitely a bonus point win for Jax Forrest. So both these guys lost to Jax Forrest, who next year should obviously be on the
PA
team PA. And Botel's going to North Carolina, so obviously he's highly ranked and very accomplished. And he was a national prep champion. 2-time national prep champion for Wyoming Seminary, just a powerhouse there, and we got to see him a whole bunch. And as I said, Aaron Seidel broke the Pennsylvania wins record. He has 206. So that's, again, but I like our chances there. I like our chances at 20, 21, 27, 33.
Absolutely.
39, it gets a little dicey. Sergio Vega is really, really good, Zach. I got to see him up close and personal at Flows, who's number 1. I was really impressed by him. Him and Jaden James.
Yeah.
Those were and Jaden James just flipped to Penn State. Again, Rocco, if you got Zach's Snapchat, just let us know, man. Just
we
need a break here. We give us some breaking news. Flo can't be breaking all the news. Give us some of it.
Let the PA team.
Let the PA guys here, man. So I mean, he Sergio Vega is unreal, and he flipped to Oklahoma State. He was originally committed to Cornell, I believe. Flipped to Oklahoma State after he won Super 32 or around then. He won Fargo. He had a great couple months. He won Fargo. He won Who's Number One, beat Gorman, Drew Gorman, and then he won Super 32 again. So yeah, so these guys, him and Tahir Parkins, wrestled at the Super 32 this year. It was 7-1, and Vega pinned him.
Okay.
So, I definitely – and then Vega went on to beat Dalton Perry 18-5 in the finals. So it was then Parkins came back for 3rd. So Perry was 2nd, Parkins was 3rd. And then they wrestled on our card, True Power, like a few weeks after that. Parkins beat Perry. So, look, they're right in there. So if you remember, Vega lost to Bo Bassett at the Super 32 2 years ago, 2023.
Yep.
Then he wrestled him at the U.S. Open. He wrestled Bo Bassett, and it was like 15-13. Bo won. He had to come back from behind. Vega's a stud. Yeah, he won Fargo. Again, he won, I forget how many state titles he won for
Arizona.
No, 4. He's a 4-time.
Four-time.
Yeah, he's a 4-time Arizona state champ. Those Arizona guys, we normally get the Valiant Prep guys, and they are not allowed to wrestle in the state tournament. We always have trouble. Like, well, they didn't win any state championships, but they're really good.
They're really good.
Parkins, for his case, he's a 2-time state champion, and I mean, he dominated.
I was gonna say he looked really impressive at the state tournament this year.
He destroyed everybody.
He looked healthy. He didn't look banged up. He looked really good. I was very impressed with that.
I mean, maybe it wasn't the deepest weight class, but my God, he's won a AAA bracket by all Tech Falls.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the Outstanding Wrestler of
which he should have, absolutely.
AAA. He's a 2-time state champ now. He's going to Rutgers. He's so mature. He's matured so much. I got to see him grow kind of as a young freshman. He goes by Tig, and everyone, it's like, man, Tig Parkins, he's really good. And then, he definitely had some struggles his first year, and then boom, like he started opening up and scoring points. I'm not saying I'm not saying we're going to win this one, but I don't think it's going to be a fall, and I think it's going to be a little bit closer, and I think Parkins is going to bring it, but Vega is he's nasty.
Yep.
He's nasty.
You know what? We have to hope that Parkins is ready to keep on that role that he from the state tournament and bringing it in here.
Well, it doesn't get any easier. No. So 145, Eden Cement from Council Rock North, and he was on the bubble, right? Because we had him coming into the state tournament, and Perry was ranked number 1, but Cement was in there too. Michael Turry, and then you also had Islamov from Baldwin. Yeah. But he lost to Perry in the region, the West Region Finals, so we didn't really know what to expect. And then Cement comes out and beats Perry 1-0 in the state finals.
Yeah.
He can slow down a Mack truck. My question with Cement is, can he open up and score points? Mm-hmm. He's really good at keeping guys off his legs, and he's really good at just grinding out wins. But can you open up? And I know he can, but sometimes he shuts down. He's number 4 in the nation against Nakade Zinkin from Clovis.
Ooh. Another California guy.
And he's going to Nebraska.
Ooh, how about their?
Jeez. Oh man. So this is a really good matchup here. Cement was 8th at the Super 32 this year at 138. Zinkin was 6th at 144. He lost to Zepeda 8-4. 2 California guys going at it. I'm sure they've wrestled a bunch before. Zinkin was a 4-time California state medalist. He's a 2-time state champion. Cement originally committed to Penn. He flipped to Michigan. He was third, first at the state tournament.
Yep.
So he finally got that monkey off his back. He's finally, a state champion, a PIAA state champion. They have a common opponent, Drew Gorman, who I mentioned. Drew Gorman, Cement beat him 11-1 at the Super 32. Zinkin beat him at Doc B 5-2 in sudden victory. Transitive property.
Yeah,
I mean,
styles are different. You never know. Styles are a big thing.
In my line of work, we look at those types of things.
Absolutely.
But we don't necessarily base all our assumptions on and judgment on that. I'm not saying that because of that, like the margin of Cement's going to win now. I'm not saying that, but I think he's going to be in that match.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Those Clovis guys, though, man, like they're so good.
Yeah.
They're really
sure.
152, Maddox Shaw, Thomas Jefferson headed to Ohio State, a 2-time state champion, a 3-time state finalist, a 4-time state medalist, going against Daniel Zepeda.
Ooh.
I saw him walking around at NCAAs. He looked small. He's short, man.
He's
short.
Yeah, 52 doesn't seem like that's what he should be wrestling, but I mean,
he wrestled 55 at the California State Tournament. I think it was 55 is what their weight is. I mean, we're the only state that screws up our weights, but
yeah, go figure.
Zepeda's he's short. Now, I mean, of course, we got to see him wrestle Bo twice in the same year. They've wrestled 3 times, and over the course of 2 years, the Who's Number 1 match was incredible.
Yeah.
Zepeda, I think. Well, I take that back. The Super 32 match was better than Who's Number 1.
Yeah, I was going to say, Who's Number 1, Bo kind of.
He did, but I think Zepeda kind of took some takeaways from that.
Oh, absolutely.
And
that
I
score
think
changed.
Yeah, and I think he definitely made some adjustments, and Zepeda is just, I mean, he's crafty.
Oh,
that's what when I think of him, I think of craftiness. He's just he finds ways, and he's just, I think he has a really high wrestling IQ.
I mean, look who his coach is.
Yeah,
I mean,
you got
Daniel Cormier his coach. I mean, if you don't know, that guy isn't crafty and what he's done in his career.
True. And there's not much Zepeda has not done. He's a 3-time California state champion. He's a Fargo national champion. He was a Super 32 finalist, as I mentioned. He lost to Bo Bassett. He's going to NC State. He was walking around with all the NC State guys at nationals. I got to see him, and that's why I was like, man, he's small, he's short. Because Shaw just seems so big.
Yeah, he's tall.
Shaw seems tall.
Yeah.
His dad's tall. His brother's tall.
Yeah.
And Maddox is And I think that number 10 ranking is not indicative of how good he is, because there was a time and he was ranked number 1 in the nation after winning Super 32. And then he took a loss at the Beast of the East this year, which dropped him. And that was, if you remember, that's when he got hurt, and then he didn't wrestle in Power Raid. So he hasn't had a chance to really avenge that loss from the Beast of the East. So that's why his ranking. I'm not. He's a top 5 guy.
He's not number 10 in my book.
Yeah, he's not number 10.
I agree.
I mean, 2 years ago, Maddox Shaw won a Super 32 title in a really, really good weight class. These two have not wrestled. I'm kind of curious to see the size difference because Zepeda, as I said, shorter. Obviously, he's stocky and he's really fast, but Shaw's
Yeah, he's a big boy.
he
He's
finds
big.
ways to win.
Yeah, I mean he's always in a match, right? I mean
Yeah.
he's strong. Yeah, you can never count that kid
Never
out.
never count him out. I mean, just watch him in Fargo and Super 32 against the best guys in the nation. Like he finds ways to win and he finds ways to stay in matches, even if a guy is get into his legs or he's
He can adapt. He can definitely
yeah
adapt to
and
what he has in front of him.
I'm excited to see him at Ohio State. See what he does there. I think he has a high ceiling. I think being in a room with some of these college guys is going to really just blow him. I think he's going to get better.
Yeah.
I think his offense is going to take off.
Mm-hmm. I think
Because
he gets bigger too. I can see him up to bigger weights.
I mean, look at his
you know?
brother. I mean,
Yeah.
his dad's really tall too.
Yeah.
So, that 52 is definitely one of my more favorite ones because Zepeda's like the talk of the town. I mean, him and D. Lockett are like the big name guys for Team USA,
Yep.
and like they're the ones with a lot of hype around them. And Shaw could play.
A big factor. Into
Yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Because Shaw's beaten those guys. He's beaten Robideau. He's beaten some of these
Yep.
really, really high level guys. So yeah, I really like that one. And then we got two at 160, and this is a nice little quartet here between Colin Guy from Quakertown, Alesso Parrington from New Jersey, who we took from New Jersey. So sorry, Coach Stoll. Then Colin Rath from Bethlehem Catholic and Landon Robideau from Minnesota. 1 versus 2 in the nation with Robideau and Rath. Rath is an interesting one. We just talked about this like an hour ago. Rath has not wrestled a folk-style match since Super 32, where he was a runner-up. He has spent his year at the Olympic Training Center. He's headed to Missouri. Jaden Cox is the Olympic coach out there, the freestyle coach. So obviously Missouri connection there. And I asked Chance Marsteller today. I said, "How's Rath looking?" He said, "He's taking down senior level guys, so I think he's doing
He's
okay,
ready to roll,
right?"
huh?
Because it's hard to say. Like when we had Levi Haynes wrestle,
K-Sac did it.
K-Sac,
Yeah.
I mean those guys we knew how good they were in high school at the PIAA level, but we didn't really. I guess Haynes did a couple opens. I'm not sure if I forget what Tyler did.
I don't know if K-Sac did it or
He didn't
not.
really do a whole lot.
No.
I don't think. I don't remember exactly, but there's a question mark there. I think Rath has a chance to come in here and just like light people up and be like, damn, like he spending a year at the OTC, like you can see, yeah. I mean, because he was, I mean, I infamously said that they should build a statue of him outside of Bethlehem Catholic after he beat 3 state champions in one tournament, right? He beat Pearson Manville, he beat Dalton Perry, he beat Mac Church, all of them, right? I'm a huge Colin Rath fan. There's no denying that. But he's going to have his hands full with Landon Robideau, who's probably one of the most – I mean, like we talk about number one guys and we talk about Lockett and we talk about Zepeda. Robideau's been – he's been really good for a really long time, and I feel like now he's at his, pinnacle, if you will.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Have you got to see him a whole bunch?
Not a lot, just some of his highlights and,
Yeah.
and watching him unflow a little bit. I mean, but from what I saw, he's the real deal.
He beat Melvin Miller, who I'm a big fan of Melvin Miller, and Melvin Miller is like, I mean, he's another one who's crafty.
Mm-hmm.
He beat Melvin Miller, who's number 1, 6'1", and I remember talking to Melvin afterwards,
yeah.
and
I
he was like,
match, yeah,
he was like, he is strong. I think that was the first thing Melvin said to me afterwards. He's like, he's really strong. He hand fights really well.
Yeah.
He's really good. He won a Super 30 title in 2024 this past year. He lost to Maddox Shaw in 23. Okay. So that was kind of like the flip there. Colin Rath won a title in 2023. He was a runner-up in 24. So they kind of flipped. Robideau beat Colin Guy in the Super 32 semifinals 4-1. So both Colin Rath and Colin Guy both wanted Robideau as an opponent.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
For Guy, it's a rematch of the Super 32. For Rath, it's like, hey, I'm number 2. I want to take out the number 1, right? And there was a lot of discussion going on about, like, who do we put on who? And we just felt like we can't pass up a 1 versus 2 in the nation. And also, I think from a team standpoint, we could get 2 wins there.
Absolutely.
Potentially,
yep.
Right? I'm really Robideau's going to Oklahoma State. Like everybody else in Team USA, they're all going to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
What's going on in Oklahoma State?
There's this one guy, Magic's
man,
Magic
Magic Mike, Magic somebody. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, man, David. And it's crazy because we were just talking about, like, what, 3 years ago. David was here.
Yeah.
You know,
Coaching
he
Team US,
coaching Team PA. We inducted him into our our Hall of Fame for the Classic. He's coaching the PA guys and running M2, and then he gets a call up, and now he's leading the Cowboys to.
He's winning trophies out in Philadelphia.
Man, leaving us small guys behind. You know, man, what happened, David? We used to talk, we used to text, and now you're on ESPN.
Doing
you're
big
on,
things.
Yeah, you're doing big things, man. Come on, you win an Olympic gold medal. All of a sudden, you're yeah. So, listen, Oklahoma State obviously has a really good thing going. And it's not a surprise that they have 5 guys on the Classic that are going to Oklahoma State. But yeah, this quartet. So Colin Guy versus Parrington. Parrington's going to Cornell. He's a guy who Coach Stoll has been
he's very high
pretty high on, right?
Yep, I saw him post something today that one last ride with him.
Yeah.
So he that's his guy, and he was excited to get him on Team USA.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's another good matchup.
So Parrington lost in the Powerade finals to Melvin Miller.
Yep,
Remember that one?
Yep, I did see that.
Colin Guy he did not wrestle Melvin. They were going to wrestle at the Midwinter Mayhem. Well, we were hoping they were going to wrestle at the Midwinter Mayhem. Colin gets hurt, comes back and wins an Escape the Rock title, then wins his second state title this past March. So Parrington, 5th in the nation. He's beaten Chapman, from who we just mentioned at the New Jersey team. Parrington that was a hell of a matchup with him and Melvin Miller.
Absolutely.
That was a really good match. So, but I think Guy can get a win there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I definitely think that we can possibly pull out 2 wins there.
I agree, and I mean everything's going to have to go our way to make it close, and we're going to have to win those toss-ups.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean Guy and Rath are 2 guys we're kind of banking on getting wins for us to put us in a position to win, but they're not going to be easy because one of them you're going to have to take out the number 1 guy, right?
Absolutely.
And that's always exciting. And 172, I mean, it's crazy our depth chart. We're unlike the Steelers. Yeah. We got depth at quarterback.
Yeah, for sure.
Like who are we going to pick up today for the Steelers? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
like
we have no idea.
We have no idea, right? A 58-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to come and play for the Steelers. We got Bodie Marlowe.
That's right.
So Asher Cunningham, 2-time state champion, he is out for Team Pennsylvania. So we called up Bodie Marlowe. Now Cunningham was ranked number 5 in the nation. Just so happens we have the number 6 guy in the nation, Bodie Marlowe.
Right here in our backyard.
Right here, who's on Team WPIAL, and we're like, you're going to call up, right? Unfortunately for him, he's wrestling D. Lockett, who's also going to Oklahoma State, is just an absolute beast.
Stud.
He's a stud.
I mean, there's nothing to it. He's got the swag.
He's got the swag.
He's got the swag. He's got the skills, man.
He knows it too.
Yeah,
he knows
he
knows he's good.
He sure does, and I like it.
I like his style.
I do.
I like his style.
He's an
his
entertaining
energy.
wrestler for sure.
Yeah,
I think.
I know you can get down with that.
I do. I definitely
know.
like some swag.
Yeah. He's good, man. He beat Melvin Miller at the Ironman this past year. He won at Who's Number 1 and going to Oklahoma State, and he's pretty good. In fact, Willie Saylor put out like his crystal ball for next year, and he actually said that D. Lockett was going to All-American. In fact, he said he was going to finish 3rd in the nation. So that just tells you how the brain feels really high on D. Lockett, right? I think there's a lot of people within the Oklahoma State fan base that think he can go right away and make an impact right away. So, sorry, Marlowe, we gave you a really tough, but again, crazier things have happened.
Absolutely, especially at this tournament.
Crazier.
The 90s, there were so many upsets in the 90s. It's we're beating, 1-time state PA champs, beating 4-time, 5-time state champs, and you can't count him out. I mean, Bodie even closed the gap even with Asher.
From regionals to I mean. So. Bodie, I mean, look at what he did at the Powerade and the Beast of the East. He was, and in fact, there was a lot of guys that said he should have won that match against Burton at the Beast of the East. He was right in that match, right? And Burton, who Lockett beat at Who's Number 1, one of the best in the nation too. So Marlowe's going to Pitt, right? Yeah. So I mean, we're not at the Pitt Fieldhouse, but you're a hometown, right? This is your home territory, so to speak. So he's got nothing to lose against D. Lockett.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have the crowd behind him because, Thomas Jefferson has 3 guys here.
Yeah.
So I know he's going to have the crowd. He's going to my alma mater, at Pitt. I know the coaches are going to be there. So, I mean, like you said, he has nothing to lose.
He's
going to let it fly. He's always in on shots.
But that's why I love these number 1 guys that they put it on the line because let's be honest, a lot of these number 1 guys, and I know from putting together cards, it's a different time where before, like, it was like, oh my gosh, you want me to wrestle on this? Yeah, heck yeah, I want to do it. Now it's like, why should I wrestle on this? And like, we're fortunate that we have the prestige and we have the Olympians who have competed in this event, Gable Stevenson, Kyle Snyder, David Taylor, the list goes on, right? We have a very good pedigree for the best wrestlers, but even then, like, I'm still impressed when the number 1 guys are like, yeah, I'll go to an all-star match and toe the line.
Absolutely. I mean, I was at the state tournament last weekend or a couple weekends ago, and I asked Jack Forrest and Bo Bassett. I said, next year will you guys wrestle in this? And Bo absolutely said, I've been watching that since I was a little kid. I will absolutely, that means a lot. I'm proud of that just because of how far this program, this event has come with my grandfather and all that. So, for someone like Bo Bassett to say I'm going to wrestle, you know what I mean? That's pretty cool.
It's special.
Yeah, for sure.
And there's a lot of special guys that have come through the Classic and Sandy Stevens, who's doing our announcing, she gave me some homework to look up, and I'm going to probably have to call Ken Stats Wonderly
because have some homework.
I'm going to have to figure out some numbers for her. But, I mean, just the amount of talent, right? This is the Dapper Dan, the Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic. Like, that has meaning, and it has, it's like a relic. Yes. It's like the holy grail of wrestling. You want to wrestle in it. And so, yeah, I again, but just shout out to Lockett for coming out.
Absolutely.
And competing.
All the way from Stillwater,
Yeah, well, he can basically carpool with a whole bunch of people that
they're all in the same fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's save us some money.
Yeah, for sure.
189, Ty Morrison from West Perry. He's on the under the radar guy because he's the only one from Team PA who's not ranked top 10 in the nation, right? Ty Morrison from West Perry, Perry County, man. I mean, those guys are built different. He's going to Pitt Johnstown where his brother Brad Morrison is at.
Right now, right?
Ty Morrison is not ranked in the nation, but he only lost to Lane Ford, who's his opponent at the Classic. He lost him 1-0 at the Trojan Wars in December. So Trojan Wars goes on the same time at Powerade. From Virginia, Lane Ford came up and he beat him 1-0. They're both small 189-pounders. Neither one of them are huge 189-pounders. So I'm
the coin.
Yeah, I'm cool with a 1-0.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, Ty Morrison's a dog, man. Like, he doesn't. We're talking about under the radar. Like, he won a state title at 189 pounds in AAA after West Perry moved up. I'm a big fan of his and just kind of like not flashy, not like just goes out there and wins.
Hard-nosed guy that knows how to get the job done. Yeah, for sure.
I love to see Pitt Johnstown. I'm sure I'm probably I would be very surprised if D1 colleges are not calling him after the PIAA state tournament.
I think I even heard your another show and you saying that.
Yeah, I think for sure, but I mean I think it also helps that his brother's at Pitt Johnstown and we've seen so many good guys go to Pitt Johnstown and then go on to other schools.
Absolutely.
And Coach Pecora, who, rest his soul, he's just one of the goats of our lifetime. And he used to always tell me, he's like, Jeff, like, I get these guys here, and then they go on and they do well at Division I programs. I mean, Jody Stripmatter was that guy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not saying Ty shouldn't go there. I'm not saying he should. But the bottom line is he's deserves to be in the spot, and I think after this weekend he's going to be ranked in the top 20 in the nation,
for sure.
Whether he wins or whether I just think he deserves it. Lane Ford, though, is I've heard my buddy Earl Smith, who does Intermat, and he's a VA guy, and in fact I always joke he's VA power, we're PA power. VA, they don't always they have like 6 classes, their state championships.
Yeah, they do have a lot.
They're really watered down. So, I mean, unlike California, you have one true champion.
1 to 6. Huh?
You're like, you won the which one? Now that you 2B. You won 2B? Okay. I mean, I'm like, heck, I could have been a state medalist in Virginia. Lane Ford, though, he's pretty
He's
damn
good.
good. Yeah, so that's a good one. 215, Austin Johnson, man, he's been around for like ever.
Seems like for sure.
And he probably could go Division I for football. Definitely Division II for football. He's a pretty good football player. He's going to Oklahoma State. He and David Taylor, M2. He's trained with David before. He's number 7th in the nation. I feel like he's been so close. He just hasn't gotten. He's never
Over
been.
that hump.
Yeah, he's never been number 1 in the nation. Right.
Yeah.
He's never been. He's always, Jude Carrera's always had his number.
He's got that one. He's got that one guy up there.
Yeah, I mean, and like Fargo, like he's always been. I think he medaled 4 or 5 times in Fargo, and he's always been right there. He just hasn't broken through and been like, man, this guy's a 1 or 2 in the nation. He's number 7, right? He's gonna have Angelo Posada from California, who's
another California guy.
Yeah, man. We didn't do ourselves any favors with flights or with quality. Posada is going to Stanford. He's tough.
Yeah, for sure.
That's going to be. But again, I think we're in a 7 versus 3. I think this is a favorable. I think these guys are gonna, and Austin Johnson's not gonna back down.
No. He's from Muncie, right? He's that hard-nosed guy that's not afraid to bleed and sweat and get the get that hard-nosed win.
I agree with you. And then the one really exciting matchup that we talked in the beginning of the year, and we're like our senior class isn't really heavy at heavyweight, no pun intended, but we just didn't have a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Shep Turk and Max Roy are both football players who wrestle. And Bechtold's an underclassman, Fendian's an underclassman. Then Rowan Holmes moves up to heavyweight this year, and he wins a state title in dramatic fashion. That was a crazy match. A really good match. Rowan Holmes showed his athleticism and really just
some grit.
Yeah. Because Fendian is like a really good heavyweight. He's a smart heavyweight. He knows how to use his body to his advantage, but he also kind of wrestles like he's a 189-pounder at times. And Rowan Holmes found a way to win, right? That was a really good match, which propelled him to number 9 in the nation, which I'm like, heck yeah, let's go.
Let's go, right?
Because we were kind of on the fence about who we were going to pick at 285. And when he won it made it very easy for us. He's going to Lehigh. Lehigh's heavyweight
I'm just going to say,
right? I mean, if you're a good heavyweight, why would you not want to go to Lehigh? Zach
Ray's pretty good.
Zach Ray's pretty good. Yeah, I think he could still probably
do
pretty
with
well.
Those guys, right?
Yeah. And they got a logjam. I mean, they got Nathan Taylor. They got Calvin Lackman there. They're going to have Dean Bechtold, who won a state title in AAA. He's a year behind, but they got a good problem to have. And I could see Rowan Holmes being like a Nathan Taylor type, where he's maybe a little bit smaller and then gets big, and then gets really big.
Yep.
So Rowan Holmes is going to have Rocco Delegata from Jersey. The Delegatas, man.
There's got to be how many of them, right?
There's a lot. In fact, Rocco Welsh, I mean, you wrestled a Delegata. We're still waiting for you to text Zach back to let us know. We're running out of time here to break your news here. But Delegata is number 4 in the nation, going to Cornell. We've seen a lot of Jersey guys go to Cornell.
I was just going to say, that connection. I wonder why.
Yeah, Knox. Someone
else go there?
Yeah, somebody else. Yeah, I think
Four-timer,
so.
maybe?
4-timer, yeah. I get it. Delegata, I'm not sure. He was at Powerade. I forget what he did at Powerade. I should probably know that. I forget. He definitely placed at Powerade. I forget how high he had to have.
Had
to have been
top 5.
Yeah,
6,
I gotta look it up now.
Another Jersey guy that we took from Stoll.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't. He's probably not too happy about that. But overall, what are your favorite matches? Because somebody asked me in the audience what my favorite matches were. What are your favorite matches?
I mean, like you said, I'm really looking for the 160-pound matches, 1 versus 2.
And we're starting and ending with one.
Yeah,
we're starting with Guy, ending with Wrath.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat that 1 versus 2. I'm really looking forward to that 52 match. I really think that Shaw is. People are probably underestimating him.
Sleeping on him a little bit.
Sleeping on him, against Zepeda. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And, I think PA guys always bring it. We surprise some USA guys, over the years. They're like, man, we go under the radar, and then we wrestle a guy who's won 4 state titles.
Yeah.
we haven't won in.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while.
We have not won in a while.
It's been a while, and I think we have a good team, and there's going to be fireworks for sure. Just who's going to do it.
I mean, remember Mason Gibson last year? I mean, Mason Gibson, who finished 4th in the state in the PIAA state tournament, comes out and has a really good showing and does Mason Gibson things.
Yeah,
jumps
that's exactly
over.
Right, jumps over for the takedown.
Yeah. I'm trying to look here at Delgado. He must not have wrestled at Powerade. Not this year because he didn't because Levy. I remember Levy from Lake Highland won it. It beat Luke Zalata. So he may have moved. I don't. Yeah, he definitely wasn't here this year. But regardless, this is a really good weight class.
Oh, for sure.
And this is a really good. This is going to be a good year for the Team PA and Team USA. And I think we. Not to toot our horns, but I feel like we did a good job.
Yeah, we did. We picked a good team.
I think both teams are really solid.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's going to be fireworks, from the start of the whistle, from 160 and ending with 160.
You can still get tickets. There's tickets. You can go online, and it's Hometown Sports is where. But if you go on our website, which is papowerwrestling.com/Pittsburgh Wrestling Classic, if you just go on PA Power Wrestling, you can see it, and you can go to tickets and info. And you can see where to buy them, and like I said, Hometown Sports is where they are. We have reserved seating, but you can get them day of. You can get them at the school.
Get the tickets at the door.
Yeah, you can still get them at the door. But if you're a wrestling fan, why would you not? I mean,
I know it's been a few crazy past couple weekends with junior wrestling and nationals and states, but end March with one heck of a show.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, and we're going to have the spotlight. You're going to be the spotlight man?
I got it.
The spotlight.
Yep,
okay.
Down, me and Mr. Havelka.
It's going to be fun, man.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate you jumping in, Zach.
No problem. I appreciate you having me on.
It's been awesome, and to all you out there, make sure you tune in. It's live on Flow Wrestling. We are going to be doing interviews, so you're going to be able to hear from the actual wrestlers, not just some swaggy guys here. Or you got swag. I don't have swag.
You got swag.
No, I don't have swag. But if you want to hear from the wrestlers, so Saturday before the matches start, I think we said about 10:30 or 11:30ish. We're going to be doing interviews. They are going to be live, and then they're going to also be on Flow after the matches. So you'll be able to watch the interviews. We kind of put them together and just talk a little bit about the matches and maybe what they're looking forward to, and maybe if it's a rematch, what did you learn the first time? So we'll do that with all the teams. It's a long, my voice is a little bit hoarse after that, but it's worth it because we get to hear from the wrestlers. So we'll be doing that Saturday, so make sure you tune into that. But yeah, other than that, we got a fun weekend. Looking forward to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
All right, Zach. Well, I appreciate it. Again, stay tuned in to all of the content at PA